Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. It's a football weekend down here in South Louisiana. Actually gets started a little bit early. Saints and Broncos from the Dome, Thursday night football. And as we know, it's going to be a super emotional evening in that Dome. Obviously, people in New Orleans not over the moon with the way things have gone with the Saints the last month. That's going to show up on Thursday night. Sean Payton also going to show up on Thursday night. Drew Brees also going to show up on Thursday night. And all those factors at play are going to be very, very interesting to see what the energy is like inside Caesars Superdome. We'll see, but it's going to be a football game between the Broncos and the Saints. We're going to talk about that with our guy Cody Warwick from Locked On Broncos. He joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Cody, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing quite well. Does anybody in Denver care that Sean Payton is coming back to the Superdome?
We were wondering that yesterday at practice because obviously it was our only chance to go see practice. Obviously, his teams are coming off Sunday. You only get one practice, and then you do a walkthrough. They're heading to New Orleans tonight. We were asking that question. There were a couple of Broncos reporters that ended up going to New Orleans to try to do a story, and we asked the question: is there really anybody in Denver who cares about Sean's homecoming? Probably not. But obviously, it's a story that kind of ties the two together. I know when Peyton returned to Indy, it was big for Broncos fans. I'm not sure it's the same magnitude, though, when it comes to a head coach versus a Hall of Fame quarterback.
You know, it's interesting you say that. I think it might. I mean, I think Drew Brees is more beloved in New Orleans, but this franchise for its entire history has been a joke, except for the blip that Sean Payton took the reins for 15 years. And that's definitely going to be a heavy on people's minds, especially considering the fact that the guy that took his place, Dennis Allen, may be on his way out in short order if things continue the way that they are. It's going to be a really emotional night inside the Superdome on Thursday. How do people in Denver feel about Sean Payton?
Look, I think some people are rubbed wrong by Sean because Sean's no nonsense. He's down to business. I know some reporters here, I think they get frustrated by him, but I think the reality is, and what I've learned just by being around Sean, he's always been great to me. Just don't ask dumb questions. Like, don't ask questions that we know he's not going to answer. Like, that's the thing I always try to tell people. Like, the one thing Sean's not going to answer to us, he's not going to tell us about injuries. He's not going to give away anything that has anything to do with strategy or formations or anything like that, tendencies. So, but I don't know why people keep asking those same questions, knowing he's not going to give us an answer. So, I've had nothing but great experiences for Sean. I think Broncos fans, they like Sean. I think they're a little frustrated with how the offense has played since he's been here as the head coach, but I think there are so many moving pieces. It's not where it needs to be just yet. But he helped snap the streak to the Chiefs and the streak to the Raiders a couple weeks ago. That's something I think is very big in the eyes of the fan base.
Yeah, it was a little bit bumpy start this year with Bo Nix, a rookie under center, but things have been a little bit better as far as the team goes the last month. What's been the improvement and why have they rattled off a few wins?
Well, they've gotten off slow starts in the first half, but they've been able to get off to a little bit of a more efficient second half performance. Defensively, they've been really good through the first 5 weeks. Week 6, there was the one game where the defense was kind of having a letdown. They couldn't get off the field on third down, and there was a game where they needed the offense to help them out. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that. I would say that really the story for them, Bo Nix has been protecting the football, and coming off the win against the Raiders, he had 3 total touchdowns there. There's just some inconsistencies with the offense right now, but Bo's protection of the football has been a big reason that they've been winning games, but the defense, the way that they've been playing, has pretty much kept them, even though the offense has struggled, has kept them in every game. So that's been a promising development, but they need the offense to start carrying their weight a little bit more.
What would you say the identity of the Broncos offense is right now?
Undefined at this point. I would say they don't know that just yet. They're trying to figure that out. And the biggest thing is early down efficiency. They're not very good at that right now. First down, they struggle. They sometimes either gain 1 yard or they go backwards 1 or 2 yards, or if you have a penalty. And then from that point forward, it makes it to where they have third and unmanageable situations for them, and they're not executing those at a high rate. So that's really defining this offense right now, and really it's the little details that are causing the biggest issues here for Denver. They got a couple of injuries on the offensive line. Mike McGlinchey They just opened up his window to return from IR. I doubt he plays on Thursday night, considering he hasn't practiced yet. I mean, he was at the walkthrough yesterday, but that was his first day doing on-field stuff with the team. So I think so much of this is just trying to figure out how to keep everybody healthy and try to find a way to run the ball. I think if they're going to find an identity, everything will open up the moment they can find a way to consistently run the ball and produce positive yards, which they haven't been able to do so at a consistent rate.
I saw McGlinchey was able to walk through yesterday. Pat Surtain, concussion, did not practice yesterday. Any update there? I haven't seen anything today. Forgive me.
Yeah, no, he's not going to play this week. He's going to be out. He'll more likely return next weekend against the Carolina Panthers. So you're going to see Jaquan McMillan, Riley Moss, and veteran Levi Wallace get a majority share of the reps at cornerback this week, obviously in place of Pat. I mean, that's a big loss, but as things are trending as well, I know for the New Orleans side, no Olave, no Rashid Shaheed, those are also big counterpoints there. But, it's Thursday Night Football. Anything crazy can happen.
There's no doubt. The Saints are a mass unit offensively, and they've obviously got Spencer Rattler under center. Broncos defense has been very, very good. What do you think their approach is going to be against the Saints offense?
I think a lot of it's going to be trying to contain Alvin Kamara, which obviously that's a challenge. The one thing I think the Saints looked at on film this week, they saw that the Broncos gave up a wheel route for a touchdown to a Chargers running back last week. And if anything, I'm looking at that and saying, hey, why not try to get that to Alvin Kamara, get an isolate one-on-one against Cody Barton, the inside linebacker, try to get a little bit of a rub there and get Kamara free. That's been a play that's hurt the Broncos twice this season through the first 6 weeks. So that might be something the Saints look at. But I think for them defensively, if they get a young quarterback in there and Spencer Rattler who can make, a wide variety of different throws, he can get outside the pocket. He's elusive in that nature, but you have to find a way to, either bring him down, like sack him, or more so force him out of the pocket, but also take away his lanes to run there. Denver, I think their contain this year has been really good in terms of their outside linebackers, especially against some athletic scramble quarterbacks. But you're just going to have to be there to try to get pressure on Rattler, and then your defensive backs have to be in position to make plays, especially if that pressure gets home. You look at Nick Bonito, one of the Broncos starting outside linebackers, he had a sack in 4 straight games, the first Bronco to do so since Von Miller. So they're looking to continue to build that streak and get after the quarterback.
I'm looking at the Broncos road slate late in the season at Baltimore, at Kansas City. Still got to go to Cincinnati as well as Los Angeles to play the Chargers, the Chiefs at home a little bit later. There's some really tough football games in the back end of the schedule. How big is this one at New Orleans before kind of a semi-long week and you get Carolina coming to Denver?
Yeah, it's huge, and Denver's really kicking themselves. They couldn't win at home last week against the Chargers because of the stretch that you mentioned that is coming up. Carolina, they're one of the worst teams right now. You never overlook a team like that. The Raiders did that and then got embarrassed at home by, obviously, Andy Dalton and company.
Yeah.
But they crucial. This is a huge game. The tough part about it is that it's coming out such a you need to find a way to get your 4th straight win. And that's something that Sean Payton's talked about all week long. And, he said, forget all the stuff about me going back to New Orleans. He said, we're trying to figure out how to win our 4th game. And look, most of the sports books had Denver at 5.5 wins this year. I mean, the fact that they're 3-3 right now is a little bit of a surprise. So they're exceeding expectations. If they get a win on Thursday, that'll be huge for them. But as you mentioned, the road gets tougher for them down the second half stretch.
He's Cody Rourke, Locked On Broncos, giving us a look at Sean Payton's team that'll come in for some Thursday Night Football tomorrow. Cody, thanks so much for the time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
It's going to be a crazy one. It's just hard to imagine me to sit here and go, look, you're looking at an offensive line that's all banged up and no Olave and no Shaheed. I realize we're not supposed to talk about injuries, but you don't have a quarterback or your 2 top wide receivers to your offensive line. You're basically just playing the backup unit, and that's a good Broncos defense. So that's going to be a tall order for Clint Kubiak and the New Orleans Saints. We'll break that game down kind of in its entirety coming up tomorrow. But Beck, I'll just go that's a gauntlet on the road that Denver's going to be playing here. I mean, at Baltimore and Kansas City might be the best 2 teams in the league, and you're playing both of those 2 teams away from home. You still got to go to Los Angeles, who just beats you on your home field. You still got to go to Cincinnati, who I don't think is terrible. And then you still got to play the Chiefs. They've got some that are very winnable, like Carolina at home. Vegas, I don't think is great, and they should win against Cleveland at home. But there's some real action on this Broncos schedule.
Yeah, there certainly is, man. It's not going to be easy for Sean Payton in Denver, considering the division he plays in, and the AFC is just pretty stout all around. So yeah, I mean, I think if he can get this team to 8 or 9 wins, it'll probably be viewed as a decent, solid start. Depending on how Bo Nix continues to develop, but yeah, that's a tough stretch. Whereas opposed to the Saints, who actually have a lighter latter half of the season. Not that it seems like it's going to matter, unfortunately, especially if they lose tomorrow.
We'll see. We'll break it down in its entirety tomorrow. Here's some sound from Dennis Allen. Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.